everyone, and welcome to today's Drama Hospital Recap. As always, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos or recaps. What a day it was. So let's get right to it. So at the boathouse where all the happenings is happening, Morgan sees Kiki and Dylan kissing through a shade, which should have been his first clue. And he leaves, but like not really. He like throws something into the side of the boathouse, and it's like a hook-esque type thing. Like he just, I mean, it's stuck in the door or whatever. So back in the boathouse, turns out the people kissing are Ned and Olivia. Yes! Like, oh my goodness, all our prayers were answered, guys. I'm so happy. So they're sneaking around so Julian won't find out. And I'm like, that's literally everything I asked for. You know, a secret romance between Ned and Olivia. I'm just so happy. And so Olivia, so it turns out like they've been sneaking around. Like last time we saw them, they were together. They were just pretending they weren't. Acting. So Olivia checks the door to make sure it's locked. Wouldn't want to do that before. And she opens it and sees the hook thing in the door, and she thinks someone is trying to send them a message. So she thinks Julian found out, and this is like a threat that, you know, he doesn't want like another man in Leo's life or this, that, and the other thing. And like then she kind of gets Ned on board with this whole Julian idea, and he says that they'll find him right now and settle it. And I'm like, that sounds like a bad idea. At the floating rib, Morgan is back, and apparently he has a usual, and that's not good. Have a usual at a bar when you're not supposed to be drinking. Disappointed. And Nell is there too, and he tells Nell that he saw his. Oh god, now we have Nell and Ned. That's another one. I'm gonna mistake that so many times, and it's gonna make no sense. So he tells Nell he saw his girlfriend cheating on him, and I'm like, through a shade. You have no idea. Is that her silhouette? You don't know. So they get to talking, and she's looking for an apartment, and he brings up, and he and Kiki a place, and it ruined everything. I'm like, because you didn't tell Kiki. And turns out his usual is a club soda. So then I felt like a jerk. I still do. I needed to confess that to you. So Morgan shows Nell his medicine and how they haven't been working like they're supposed to. This one's supposed to stabilize his mood. This one is supposed to, I think it's like a form of an antidepressant, he said. And he says he feels like hell, and Nell's like, well, I can't drink either. So Morgan says like Nell's sick because she gave up a kidney, and she's like, hey, I didn't choose to give up that kidney, and you didn't choose to have bipolar disorder. Like, it's nothing, like, it's just as valid. Like, you don't have to, like, you know, it's just destigmatizing, you know, mental illness. So, you know, then Morgan kisses Nell, because why not? And she's like, no. You know, I was showing you empathy, not like inviting you. And then she says she hopes it all works out for him, and then leaves. At Crimson, so Kiki drove Dylan to Crimson, and he has some more work to catch up on, and she offers to stay and help, and he wants to bury himself in his work, and then he finds a picture of Paul from the nurse's ball. Oh, that rhymed! So Kiki talks to him, tries to comfort him, make him feel better, and she says, you know, she hasn't been exactly where he is, but pretty close, and they'll work together on this Crimson stuff. He wants her to stay, and I'm like, oh my goodness, first Ned and Olivia, and now Kiki and Dylan, and just all my dreams are coming true. So she finds a picture from their duet, and they were both so happy that night, and they start thinking about how happy they were, and I was like, At the Metro Court, Griffin and Anna are having dinner, and he has all the praise for her taking down Paul. And, you know, then they get to talking about Emma, and, you know, obviously she's still sad about Sabrina. And Anna apparently had just Skyped with her, and Griffin is upset that Emma has to know, like, that evil, and, you know, Anna's like, well, she had to deal with it with Duke too. And he's also upset that Julian went free. So Anna talks about how Paul threw his case, and the only thing he doesn't seem involved with is Alexis falling apart on the stand. And I was like, ah. So Griffin says he feels something he's never felt before towards Julian or anyone, and it's hatred. And he wants to get rid of it. He doesn't like it. He's prayed to get rid of it months and not leaving. And Anna's like, you're human. Like, you know, it's just a human emotion. Olivia and Ned come in, and oh no, I'm out of order. So be back on that in a second. So at Alexis's place, Alexis has wine, and when she hears the door jingling, she kind of like goes to hide it, but then Julian comes in. It's not Sam, so she doesn't have to hide she's drinking. She didn't even try with this pact, to be quite honest with you. So he didn't realize she was home because her car's in the garage, I guess. Well, it wasn't in the driveway, and she doesn't care. She wants him out, and he says he's there to pick up his last box of stuff in the basement, and then he promises to never come back. So he pulls the I still care about you card, and he thinks she has a problem, and she's like, yeah, my problem is you. And then Anna's at the door, and I'm like, hello there, and we'll come back to that in a second. So at the Metro Court, Olivia and Ned arrive, and Julian's there. So Olivia asks him what he's doing, and she says she's got his warning and he doesn't know what she's talking about, and Ned says, you know, no one believes you, and Julian's like, yeah, why? What's going on? So Olivia shows him the picture of the hook in the door and is like, what is this, a death threat? So he says he didn't put a hook in the door and he didn't even know they were together. And he says he's going to see Leo whenever he wants since they have a custody agreement, and he's free. And she's like, yeah, no. And Julian's like, well, if you try to take him away, you know, maybe you will have to worry about giant hooks. And I was like, okay, that was a threat. So back at Alexis's place, Anna says it's only a matter of time before somebody remedies Julian's freedom situation. And, I guess Julian hadn't left yet. Darn it! So Julian was like, I'm sure I have the full, PCPD cooperation to keep me safe. And she's like, yeah, sure. Sounds good. And then he goes off to the Metro Court. So Alexis isn't really in the mood to talk to Anna, but she's like, fine. Like, just, you can be here, but you, like, don't stay. So Alexis says, no. Alexis apparently doesn't know about Paul because she's still blaming herself for the whole trial. So she's talking about the case. She's just going on and on. Anna's not even like trying to get a word in. And Alexis doesn't have an answer for how she acted on the stand, which I think should be the biggest clue here. Like I feel like once Alexis finds out about Paul, she's going to remember getting the drink from him and then at least be suspicious of it. Like, even if they can't prove he gave her anything, at least be suspicious of it because she doesn't know why she acted that way. Even if no one else believes her, she'll know. Anyway, sorry. So she's read the full transcript of the case over and over and over and just can't. She's mortified and embarrassed and disappointed in herself. And Anna's not even trying to tell her about Paul. Anna's just letting her go on and on because I'm sure this is at least some satisfaction for Anna. So, you know, Alexis feels she said it all, and Anna tells her to report Julian for violating the restraining order. Like, come on. I mean, you can't hold him for anything, but at least it'll be on the record. But Alexis says that she can deal with it herself. She's going to get the locks changed and all that. At the church, Sonny is seeking guidance or something, I believe, and a father is there, and he apologizes for letting himself in, and the father asks if he's there for confession. So Sonny says he's not, just needs to talk to God, and he's talking to God when Griffin walks in, and I'm like, okay, you got there really fast, because 2 seconds ago, you were holding hands with Anna over the table, like, thinking about your father. So they talk, and Griffin says it sounds like they're there for the same reason, and Sonny's like, doubt that, and he literally gets that much amusement out of what Griffin said. So Griffin is actually praying for guidance, and he asks Sonny what he wants from God. So he says he doesn't want anything, he's just there for respect, and he feels God sees his heart and knows why he does what he does. And Griffin wants justice too, but he wonders what gives Sonny the right to serve it. So Sonny says he has resources and goes after bad people, so basically he's Dexter. Sorry, I started watching Dexter a few weeks ago. And he says he would love to leave vengeance to God, but God doesn't deliver. You know, he talks a good game, but he doesn't do a thing. And I was like, ooh, in his own house? Like, I mean, I'm not a religious person, but, like, if I walked into someone's house and I started saying how, like, they don't follow through on what they say they would, like, that's just rude. I mean, to anyone. So Sonny says that he's always had to be the one to dole out justice. And now end scene, I know. So Olivia and Ned are at the Metro Court bar, and she wonders who put the hook in the door. Ned thinks it was Dylan, just to vent, because he was redecorating the boathouse before. Dylan and Kiki kiss, and I was like, yes, best episode ever. Morian begrudgingly takes his medicine. Just kidding. He doesn't. He puts them in, like, the busboy's, like, basically the garbage, you know, the busboy collects off tables and then, you know, inevitably puts in the garbage. And then he gets a double vodka. So I was like, all right, so now people aren't gonna think you're trying, because if you get a blood test, it won't. I can't. Well, I guess it would. Anyway, you know what I mean. Alexis asks Anna if she thinks Sunny will go after Julian. Anna says, "Look, because then Alexis makes a remark about how, like, did Anna really want, like, was she really actually protecting Julian before?" And Anna says, look, I wanted Julian tried in a court of law. I did everything I could to make sure Sunny didn't take vengeance. But you know what? I'm not going to do that again. And there's a man following Julian and not being too subtle about it. And I don't know, it doesn't seem like he's on his side. And Griffin says that Sunny's not doing God's work. He's doing it for himself. And then, like, questions Sunny's faith in, like, a really, like, in-your-face way, not subtle at all. Basically says, do you even believe in God? Which I don't know a lot about Sunny, but I do. But that's the one thing, like, you don't do, like, especially if you're a priest who kind of, you know, I don't know. I just not very peaceful things going on in that church today. So that is it for today's General Hospital recap. I thanked in yesterday's video, but I just want to thank y'all again for, like, your nice comments. I responded to a bunch today. I thought I responded to a lot of comments, like, a few weeks ago, and then I was saying there's, like, no replies, and I was like, I'm pretty sure I replied to them, so not quite sure what happened there. But I have a full plan for this weekend, because I'm gonna have some time, so you can expect, I'm gonna make a plan now, like, I'm promising you now. You can expect the rest of the Montana videos. I'm doing 2 e-catter days that I'm gonna put out, like, 2 days or whatever, because I'm behind, because when thought I would have time to film in Montana, I didn't. I don't know why I thought I would have time to film, but I thought I would, but I didn't. And then September just, I didn't start September in New Jersey, so September didn't actually happen. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be great when I'm a world traveler, right? I'm planning a new General Hospital segment that I think, well, I got the 2. I want to do the one where it's, like, the behind the scenes, more about the actors. That'll be once a month, or once, like, whenever there's, like, at least once a month. And then I had an idea for another one that I think will be great, especially a lot of people, I think it'll just be great for people who watch the show daily, even watch us daily, but just as a, let me just tell you, so you know, I don't want to be quick. I want to do, like, a month in review wrap up. So I'm going to keep a running notebook of just big things that happened in the month. And then at the last day of the month, like, go over it. So even if you're a casual watcher, like Cassie hasn't had a chance to watch it, but if you don't have time to watch a video every day or even catch up on a video every day, it's a nice, concise thing to watch and know what's happening on the show. Because from what I've gleaned from a lot of your comments and then people I know in real life, either you fall asleep and miss it, or just there's not enough time in the day. And, like, trust me, I understand 5 days a week working now, and now I have a workout program. Oh my goodness, it's like my whole life, just everything happening, right? All right, so I think I've rambled enough. So that's some things you can look forward to this October, and it's gonna get even more exciting as the year goes on, and maybe a little more personal as I just snapped my hairband. Who am I? But yeah, I don't want to talk. So, okay. I think that's all. I will see you tomorrow for more General Hospital, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.